Good afternoon and welcome to Tuesday's market. SITREP here at Top Gun Options. Didn't have a Monday market outlook yesterday, flying back from Vermont, and a great weekend watching my boy play some hockey. Quick note, Dartmouth, go move to a different country. University of Vermont played the national anthem. Norwich University obviously played the national anthem. A bunch of limousine liberals up at Dartmouth chose not to. So you don't like it, leave. All right, guys, I'm going to do a free live trade brief with all this market volatility. And is this the big Fred Sanford that I've warned about for a long time? It might be. And we're going to take a look at that Thursday at 1 o'clock. Just head to go.topgunoptions.com/brief. And I'll give a live trade brief. I'm just going to open up the doors to our regular Analyze Your Trade and weekly debrief. So for a lot of you that are running around out there solo in this market and getting shot at, and some of you getting shot down and blown out without an ejection seat, I'm going to teach you how to have an ejection seat and then potentially profit. I took a look over the past week and a half at getting long SDS, just buying some break glass in case of emergency calls on SDS, and they're looking phenomenal today. Because as we talked about over the past week and a half, that it's a binary market right now. Either we are going to hold this 200-day moving average on the S&P 500. Let me bring it up real quick. Or not. And if we broke it with any sort of airspeed like we did today, I have no idea where the bottom is. Look out below. The next quote-unquote support would be down here at like 26.25, and we're heading lower, folks. So hopefully you listened to me over the past couple weeks. 2 times I said get some SDS calls. Put them in your filing cabinet. The one set of calls are up 350% since we put them on. Nice hedge. I said buy them, throw them in your filing cabinet in case we go higher, in case earnings do not save this rally. I told you over the past week and a half that the market has been shrugging at good earnings, and even the forward guidance, whether it was the CEO of CSX or Jamie Dimon, they really didn't give poor forward guidance. So when I look at these type of headlines today, U.S. stocks fall on earnings outlooks, worries about global growth. I haven't heard one company's earnings the outlook looked bad. So I think the journal's reaching here. But let me get strategic real quick. We're going to talk about Brazil and a potential trade we have on there with the Bolsonaro, essentially the Donald Trump of Brazil. Turkey's just... They could care less that this journalist was hacked up in their country. They really could care less. The fact that it undercuts the Saudis and our relationship with the Saudis, they're loving this. They are dripping this out on purpose. I got to be honest with you. I really wish the American media cared more about who killed Seth Rich, the DNC, and Hillary Clinton did, than this guy, a non-American citizen journalist. I get it's gruesome. I get it was horrific, but the dude wasn't a Girl Scout. Massive supporter of the Muslim Brotherhood, was not a friend of the United States, to be honest with you, and maybe that's why he was a reporter for the Washington Post. So he was no babe in the woods here, folks. So crocodile tears out of a lot of people in this country. Why don't you take a look at who killed Seth Rich and why? DNC staffer who leaked a lot of stuff to WikiLeaks mysteriously got murdered in D.C. D.C. cops have no idea who did it. Yeah, right. Okay. Time to prepare for the next crisis. One of China's largest funds is ready to dump stocks. I've talked about this the other day. This was a short-term bump right here. This sugar high in the FXI. The PBOC jumped in yesterday to save capitalism with China. Sent a text out to a couple of my personal coaching folks and said, bearish double vertical tomorrow on FXI. It's going to implode. This week, I was off by a couple days because it imploded today, down almost 3%. This thing is heading lower. The trade war with the United States is getting worse. U.S.-China trade war. Chinese official says Beijing does not fear President Trump. They're really putting their backs up against the wall. They know the president's got a tough midterm re-election coming up, and they can just sit here on their hands. Well, it's getting ugly. China slams Pompeo, Secretary of State Pompeo's ignorant and malicious debt trap warning. This is not, as I keep saying, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to get worse before it gets better. Any one of these pops we have sold into. And yesterday's pop, like I said, sitting on an airplane, hard to get out an alert, but got out a text to some of my coaching clients about a bearish double vertical on FXI, selling into that pop because the PBOC's soothing words are going to mean nothing. And this is actually heating up as well. The Taiwan Strait, I've sailed through these waters. I've been there on the Abraham Lincoln and the Kitty Hawk. We're about to have to A couple things go bump in the night here. The president has no problem sailing through what China says is now their borders, and that's going to come to a head as well. So here we are, Dow down 450 points. Again, it doesn't have that feel to it that it's panic selling. That does not look pretty. But as we talked about, I predict we nailed this, guys. I said if we go through the 50-day with airspeed, we're done. We hit the 200. We're going to chop around for a while. And I said last week right here, that 500-600 point rip your face off rally, I said do not believe it. We actually sold bearish double vertical on VXX and had another bearish call spread on VXX and made about $7,200. Now, I have another bear spread out to Friday that ain't looking so hot right now. But this is, look at this, markets overreact to stuff. That was way oversold. That was way overbought. This is way oversold for where we are. But we got a lot of volatility on the horizon, folks. We got U.S. elections, which just promised to be an absolute shit show November 1st. We have Iranian sanctions kicking in on oil. It's not going to, it's going to destabilize energy markets, which is good for our ExxonMobil position. But there's a lot going on here. The silver lining in all of this, what happens when good company stocks implode, especially with low interest rates or low interest rates for now? They end up buying back a lot more of their shares. So a little bit of a secret here. You know, a lot of players in the market believe we have a Fed put, so to speak, underneath here, that the Fed would step in to save capitalism. They may not need to, because a lot of companies are looking at their shares being pounded here, and might be buying them back. But we're going to talk about all this. Like I said, at 1 o'clock we have a joint primary and weekly options live trade brief, since we didn't do our weekly options brief yesterday. But if you're not currently a member, head to go.topgunoptions.com/brief, and I'll open up the doors on Thursday to our weekly analyze your trade and debrief session, because like I said, this is it's a crazy market right now. We love it as options traders because we love volatility. If you don't, you're just you're doing it wrong. Okay, so have a great rest of your day. I'll see many of you at 1 o'clock for primary live trade brief and weekly options. We'll see you.